MiniPEDcast, we want to demonstrate the wonderful work happening in soil science. And on our next feature, Profile, we're especially interested in the work of our early career researchers.
Grant Campbell is one of those ECRs, and I've been talking to him this month about the fascinating work he's doing as part of his PhD.
Hello there, my name is Grant Campbell. I am a PhD student at the James Hutton Institute at Cranfield University. So basically my PhD is to achieve the first version of a digital soil map for GB, taking into account lessons learned from modelling and mapping some test area work for soil properties, so things like loss and ignition, pH, texture. What we're doing is we're taking known soils data from our archives both in the Hutton and Cranfield where I'm doing my PhD and utilising this with a range of other ancillary data, so land cover maps, geology, climate data, that sort of thing. We sample the data, so we have a large data set, and then using a range of other kind of environmental modelling approaches, we train the data on the specific models, so we use specific models to train the data, and looking for the trained data we then take it a step further and we develop it across a much larger area based on what we've seen from a training aspect. Because I'm kind of at the sharp end of this sort of work, and to create a sort of almost like a version 1 of a kind of Scotland, England or Wales style GB map, if you like. I think that's quite exciting. As I said, you're at the sharp end, and I think every day you learn something new about your own research, and I actually find that quite enjoyable, and it stimulates me to continue this work all the time. So I think the hardest thing is actually for me how to learn a lot of skills, so things like coding, things like using art. I found that quite a challenge at the beginning. That's certainly something that I've learned quite a lot throughout my project, but also because I'm not a pedologist, my degree was obviously in geography, but I'm trying to learn a little bit more about soils. So actually as a pedologist, trying to learn all the kind of aspects and the associations with other environmental factors has also been a challenge. But we've had so many issues with trying to unify things together because obviously the laboratory and analytical data sets have been very difficult and very different as well. So obviously we can't use some, we have to adapt things so we can use them. But probably the biggest issue is simply down to the availability of data, especially in some areas where there's sparse data, especially for example the west coast of Scotland as an example. And that just simply is the beauty of DSM, a digital soil map, and it really is only beneficial depending on how much data you have at your disposal, and also the covariate coverage, the ancillary data coverage you have in those areas, because the models are only as good as the input data you have available to use. So there's pros and cons, but it's quite exciting to actually see those challenges and actually be at the sharp end of them taking place. So whilst there are difficulties, I'm a very optimistic person, and I still like to make as much positive as I can out of the things that maybe don't work quite so well, because sometimes it's all about eliminating what isn't working and to find out what is a problem. Certainly for people that I think are interested in going into soil science, always keep an open mind. Earth is a very dynamic place. Things change in milliseconds, so anything about the landscape and the interactions with soils are just quite extraordinary. People don't see it to the naked eye, but even below ground, anything is possible, so always keep an open mind. It's also extremely important, and I think it's important that we keep communicating how important they are to the general layman, because soils are an important factor of our landscape. They affect plants, they affect animals. The functions of soil are profound to everybody. Probably my biggest incentive for people to work in the soils would be to try and get yourself out there. Obviously publishing papers is a great start, and I've been very fortunate to have one published already, but I think I'm also the opinion of communicating your science. Every available opportunity is important. So if you want to get in touch with me, you can get involved by giving me a shout at the James Hutton Institute. Just drop me an email at grant.campbell@hutton.ac.uk. You can also find me at Cranfield by dropping me an email at g.a.campbell@cranfield.ac.uk. I'm also very active on social media. You can follow me on Twitter at stato_grant. The reason I call myself that is because I'm very much into statistics, and it's always been a bit of an interest of mine, so at statogrant on Twitter. I'm also very active at another group called Dirt Doctors. I'm also one of the chief founders of Dirt Doctors at Cranfield, and you can follow us at Dirt Docs or go to www.dirtdoctors.com.
And if you would like to share your work in Profile, then matter what stage of the project you're in, let me know. You can email me student@soils.org.uk.